So here are a few reasons why I got the XH2S. Better autofocus, better battery, better resolutions, f-log2. Those are a few reasons why I decided to switch over. Better autofocus, I think it's self-explanatory. The 6.2K was a huge upgrade from the XE3 that I had at the time. And the f-log2 was looking way better than the f-log was at the time. Got way more dynamic range than the f-log that I was getting out of my XE3. So those were the reasons that I decided to upgrade. Now let me tell you where the XH2S really shines. I think the autofocus, of course, is as good as I thought it was gonna be, or even better. It's still not up to Sony level, I don't think, but if the Sony hits 10 times, I think the Fuji hits 8 or 9. Personally, I've only gotten to use the 16-55 red badge lens out of the red badges, but I am interested in getting the 50-140, which I know is super reliable in autofocus as well. And they just dropped the 60-55 Mark II, which I'm sure is even better than the first. And the first honestly doesn't miss. It's what I'm using right now. Bam, see? Super good. And I also have a video on the 16-55 on which I talk about that. And these are the type of jobs that I've gotten to use the XH2S on. Documentary work, weddings, festivals, corporate work, and of course personal projects. And recently I was able to do a short film, and the cut for that actually came out great. I wasn't the editor on it, but from what I've seen, it looks awesome. And to be honest, I was a little skeptical because the director did not let me light as many scenes as I would like to have lit. So the whole time I was kind of scared, but after seeing the film and how it came out after it was edited, I think it looks amazing. Would I have liked to light some of those scenes myself? Of course, but for what I had to work with and what the final product looked like, it still came out amazing. Now, where the XH2S really doesn't shine is in cases where you might be filming in direct sunlight and you're shooting in 6K, or even in a hot room. Recently, we were just shooting a podcast for Shaq, and the XH2S started overheating in about 20-ish minutes. 2 XH2Ss actually, and the Sony's actually held us down. So we were able to make it through that shoot because of the Sony's. And what I would do is I would let the camera cool off for a few minutes and then turn it back on. I don't know if that's the protocol, but that's what I was doing, and nothing seems to be wrong with my Fuji. So now with us living in New Orleans, it is extremely hot at a lot of the times. We were even in a room filming a podcast recently, and it was pretty hot, and the camera did start overheating as well. Also another time where I was shooting in 6.2K. My last gripe with the camera isn't really with the camera, but it's more with Fuji. We just don't have as many lenses as I would like to have access to. Of course, Fuji does put out lenses, but other manufacturers should have the option to, or should be putting out more lenses for us as well. I don't know if it's a Fuji problem or it's just the companies aren't interested in dropping a lot of lenses. I know that Viltrox does have a lot of lenses and they are amazing, but we just don't have as many as Sony does, and I would like to have a better lens lineup. Now, after using the camera for 2 years, I can say that the camera is amazing, and this camera is for somebody that's looking to upgrade from a past Fuji camera, maybe the XE4, XE3, or somebody that maybe just can't afford to get a Canon R5 or a 7S III, because those cameras are at least $1,000 more, and this camera comes in at $2,500, which is a steal for everything that you get out of it. Image quality, battery life, and of course the low light capabilities aren't as great as Sony's, but I just want to say that if you do use a fast lens and you crank this up to around 5,000 ISO, the image is still great. It's not as great as you would have it at 3,200, but like everybody has said, the noise in this camera does look organic and it does give it a film look, so you can either opt to keep it or remove it in post. Now for my wish list, I think I'm gonna say what everybody else has said. Fuji, please put the sensor into a cinema camera, and hopefully one that I can afford. The GFX body looks amazing, and I'm sure it does great, but I cannot afford an $8,000 camera. So that's my wish list. To quickly wrap this up, I think that this camera is awesome for running gun situations. Maybe on a commercial shoot, you could use it as your main, but also as a B camera that you might want to throw on a gimbal and get your shots with.